Pakistan should be combating the cancer of terror. Unless it realizes there is a problem, how will it find a solution? And I want to put that question to Major General Athar Abbas, a familiar face on television. General Abbas was the Director General of Inter-Services Public Relations in Pakistan. Also with me is Major General G.D. Bakshi, Counter-Terrorism Force Romeo Commander, Jammu and Kashmir, now a Strategic Affairs Analyst. General Athar Abbas, welcome on the broadcast. The question I have for you, sir, where is the evidence of the involvement of India in the Army Public School massacre in Peshawar? You lost 150 children, sir. You're a soldier. You know who your real enemies are.
Yes, certainly we are fighting those enemies. And it's not only 160 children there, but over 60,000 civilians and military personnel have been killed in this war against terror. And Pakistan is doing its best to contain these terrorists, to finish them off and eliminate them. But at the same time, you know, it is your internal problem. There are internal weaknesses. There are internal elements and groups which are prone to outside exploitation also. So there are hostile agencies against Pakistan.
General, do you have direct evidence of India's involvement in the Army Public School attack in Peshawar? General Athar Abbas, it was a very specific question I posed to you, sir. Direct evidence of involvement of India.
Look, Indian involvement at large, generally, was a press statement by the army that RAW is involved in exciting people in Balochistan, in funding people in Balochistan and Karachi, but nobody specifically has pointed out Indian involvement in Army Public School attack. Where is the statement? Which statement are you referring to? Either the government or the army statement where the RAW or the Indian involvement has been highlighted.
Sir, that is the intelligence input on Pakistani dossier, and General G.D. Bakshi, General Athar Abbas is spot on when he says there is no direct evidence linking India to the Army Public School attack. But this is, what do you make of Pakistan blaming India for funding, training and arming Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan and blaming it for the Army Public School attack at Peshawar, sir? General Bakshi.
I'm very sorry to state, Gaurav, you know, attack is supposed to be the best form of defense. And unfortunately, our Pakistani interlocutors have taken on to go on the offensive and to somehow get them off the hook, themselves off the hook of a great deal of terrorist crimes that they have to answer for. They are trying to pin the blame on India. Now let's take the specific case of the Peshawar school attack. For God's sake, immediately in the wake of the attack, all the reports that came out in the Pakistani media, they had identified there were 3 Chechens, there were 3 Arabs, there was 1 Chechen, there was some Afghans. They had, you know, pinpointed Mullah Fazlullah as the man who orchestrated these attacks, trained them, sent them inside. Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan had claimed the credit for this kind of attack.
Absolutely,
they had owned up that they had done it.
You're spot on.
I mean,
General Abbas,
but you know, Gaurav,
is this another bogey?
I want to point out.
No, for a moment, I want to bring in General Abbas. General Abbas, is this another bogey of the Pakistani state? Remember, just recently, they have blamed India for the drone attack. That drone turned out to be a toy drone, a Chinese drone, which India does not even have. So is Pakistan playing a very dangerous game, General Abbas?
Look, when intelligence people work, they don't leave footprints like using the drone which has a mark of made in India. It has to be some clandestine way of doing the thing. The other thing is that Army has issued a statement based on intelligence input that RAW is involved in Balochistan through Afghanistan. Look, McChrystal has pointed out, Chuck Hagel has pointed out, your own national security advisor has said that we are involved in Balochistan. Pakistan will have to do away with Balochistan if they keep on helping Kashmiris in that. They are on record. Your own Manohar Parrikar, the minister, is on record saying terrorists will be taken out by the terrorists. And there is the evidence of MQM supporters who have gone in India and got the training from the RAW people there. And they have confessions, they are caught by the police, they are now going to the court. Now, this was a general statement by the Prime Minister office and the army that RAW is involved through Balochistan and in Karachi. Nobody has pointed out the people have been taught in Army Public School massacre of Peshawar, and they belong to TTP. Now TTP from behind, they have a linkage with hostile agencies either through Afghanistan or somewhere. So nobody is
But
established
isn't
the
this
proof
then another
so far.
bogey, sir? Isn't this another bogey? Because you blamed, Pakistan blamed MQM was being funded by India based on a foreign television channel report, based on a British intelligence input, which turned out to be fake. General Bakshi, isn't Pakistan falling in its own trap deeper and deeper, sir?
You know, I would just like to point out to General Athar Abbas, I mean, he is very articulate and he is well read. I'd like to point out to him that what Hillary Clinton had said, if you keep snakes in your backyard and you feed them milk in the pious hope that they will only bite your enemies in Afghanistan and India, I'm afraid it's a very forlorn hope. One day they will turn and bite you. Pakistan has become the world's nursery of terror.
And
Far
that is exactly
before
what is
the
happening.
Chinese
General
started
Athar
this
Abbas,
concept of
is there
beltway.
realization that you are breeding snakes in
you have
your
a
backyard
beltway
and the
of
same
terror.
snakes are killing you now? General Athar Abbas.
Yes, I would like to answer General Bakshi. Well, we may be having snakes in our backyard, but does it mean that you are feeding those snakes, you're feeding milk to the snakes to Afghanistan? This is what has said by Chuck Hagel, that India is a minister at the level of Chuck Hagel. When he makes a statement, it's not a joke. He's saying
No,
India
no,
is
but
involved in Balochistan
General,
through
what about
Afghanistan.
terrorists
Now, you
like
have to
Hafiz
take
Mohammed
that
Saeed?
statement
General
seriously.
Abbas, will you take action? Will Pakistan take action? And since you were in ISPR, since you were very, very close to the top military leadership in the country, will you take action, will your country take action against the Hafiz Mohammed Saids, the Dawood Ibrahims, the Zakir Rahman Lakhvis and the Zarar Shahs, or will we see no action against them, sir?
Look, we have been fighting at each other's throats since last over 60 years. We can continue going on with the same zeal and spirit for another over 60 years. So you have to leave everything else aside and come to our talk. When we want to talk and tell you what is happening in Balochistan, we have some evidence. Your Prime Minister agrees to that. But the moment he lands up, the whole BJP and opposition is up in arms. You don't want to talk even about that. How do you expect us to place an evidence in front of you if you are not willing to talk even to Pakistan?
So, General Bakshi, what's the future of India-Pakistan talks? Is UFA agreement, the ink hasn't even dried and the two countries are once again at each other's throats when it comes to such issues. Should India then talk to Pakistan only in the language Pakistan understands, General Bakshi?
You know, I would like to remind General Athar, I'm surprised he's saying what he's saying, that it is India which has consistently, General Athar, taken the initiative to break the ice, to resume the dialogue. I mean, let's not go too far back into history of how the Lahore bus taken by Prime Minister Vajpayee to Lahore ended up in the war in Kargil. But I'm saying since Prime Minister Modi has taken charge in New Delhi, this is his third initiative. And I'm very sorry to state that this initiative has ended precisely in the way of all previous such peace initiatives. The Pakistani military ISI complex seems to resent being excluded, wants to show that it is in charge backstage as far as foreign policy, security policy is concerned.
General Abbas,
anytime
the point that General Bakshi raises,
government makes an overture.
Yes, the point that General Bakshi raises, should India be talking directly to Pakistan army for any kind of resolution, military to military contact, or our civilian establishment to your military contact for a solution?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. So could you please come again?
Is it time now for Government of India to talk directly to General Raheel Sharif or the military leadership in Pakistan for a resolution so that there is accountability on both sides?
Absolutely not. The government is here, is in power. The military is subordinate to the government. The military and civilian government is on one page when it goes fighting against terrorism, when it goes to foreign policy issues. The government is in full charge. You have seen the resentment against your ministers' overtures and outrage was responded by our Senate and National Assembly. they passed the resolutions against the Indians' outburst on the issue of terrorism and using terrorists, etc. And Prime Minister Modi's statement when he went to Bangladesh. It wasn't the army, it was the government which responded. The government is in full in charge. And it was Nawaz Sharif who, despite all the resistance and resentment here, reached out to Mr. Modi, went and responded. But unfortunately, after that, the position taken by Modi government was untenable, unreasonable and irrational.
But unfortunately, on ground, we see no action by Pakistan against India-centric terror and only sweet words. What India expects to see is sweet action on ground against terrorists. And I think that is why, General, these talks are actually having no result. But for the moment, many thanks for joining me, General Athar Abbas and General G.D. Bakshi.